Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I am Jeff.
And we've got a jam-packed episode.
Jam-packed of having a cold.
Well, yes, expect to hear a solid amount of Jeff coughing. We're gonna have to really be on point with our editing, but I'm sure some are gonna sneak through.
Cough signals are important.
Yeah.
We've come up with hand gestures. Not really.
We talked about it, but then that was it.
But it didn't happen.
But it's like a bat signal.
Yeah.
I just signed that you're about to cough.
Yes. Learn sign language real quick.
Yep.
And do that.
And then we have to learn it also so that we can understand him when he
Understand.
signs that I'm gonna cough. Yeah.
Because clearly I'm not signing to say, I'm clearly signing other things that aren't, I need to cough.
You never know.
Yeah, you like to keep us on our toes, man.
Once
Yeah.
you know sign language, there's no limit to your possibilities.
I know fuck you, you fucking fuck. That's about all it.
All right, do it.
Fuck you, clearly.
Yeah.
It's middle finger.
Okay.
You, it's
Okay.
pointing.
Okay.
And then FK.
Okay.
And then fuck, which is like, I don't know, two bunny ears sort of laying down.
Okay.
And then you hit them against each other.
Okay. But
Or
not
maybe it's
in that way.
Sorry, I got that backwards.
Just on the
Fucking.
back. Yeah.
And then fuck. Just sign fuck.
Okay. There you go.
There's a really good dirty sign language teacher on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah. Speaking of sign language, now that we're thoroughly derailed, I saw an awesome video the other day where one of the late night TV host people, I think it might have been Conan, had...
Conan. Yes. Conan, the late night barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
It's Conan.
It's Conan. Yeah.
Whatever. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yes.
Tomato, tomato,
And
whatever.
It was hilarious.
You put emphasis on the wrong syllable. You got that wrong too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it was Conan. And he had these three sign language interpreters who specialize in interpreting rap, like at rap concerts, and had them do a sign language rap battle. And it was fantastic.
Nice.
I highly recommend checking out that video on YouTube if you have some time and you want to see how awesome sign language can be when like it's not like a stodgy university like translation or something. Like it's something much more practical, like rap music. That was fun. So Jeff, you've been sick,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
I feel sick because I just finished up a 4-day Vegas bender and am exhausted and possibly still hungover.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got rough. I held it together until the last night, and then I went overboard.
Oh.
Drank a whole lot that last night in Vegas.
Never been to Vegas.
It's a bunch of fun.
I heard you just put money on tables and then it just goes away.
Yep.
Correct, especially when you're drunk, because then you put money in the wrong places on tables, and it goes away even faster.
Are the
Playing
drinks?
craps. I want to put this on an 11, please.
Yes.
Is there a zero space I can put this on? What's the green one? Can I bet on that one?
But I had a bunch of fun. We found for the Broncos game yesterday, which they demolished the Cowboys, by the way. Broncos are looking real good 2 games in. But we found this dive bar. We searched for like Broncos bars in Vegas, and like on Yelp and Google and a bunch of other things, like this place Jake's kept coming up. And I was like, all right, cool. So we get over there. This was the like diviest dive bar that ever dived. It was so sketchy. If it weren't for the fact that it was definitely a Broncos bar, like their awning even said like Broncos on it, we probably wouldn't have even went in because we would have feared for our lives. But we were with fellow Broncos fans, and they take care of each other. We ended up sitting at a pool table that was covered with a plywood plank. And when we sat down at the pool table, the bartender actually came over and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry you guys had to sit at the kiddie table." She's like, "Do you guys want a free shot because of it?" And we were like, yes.
That's the best part about the sketchy places. So many free drinks.
Yes, we do. And she's like, "Sweet, because I want to do a shot, so I'm going to do a shot with you guys."
That's usually why also.
Fantastic.
Because then they get to.
And so we did shots with her. They had a $2 like menu for the duration of the game that was, you know, things that are expected to be $2, like shitty ballpark nachos. And then things that aren't expected to be $2, like 5 really big, really delicious barbecue wings. And so we ate a decent amount of food, drank a bunch of beer. If it weren't for the fact that the game had a 62-minute lightning delay, I would have actually got to finish watching the game there.
Oh, that's probably why that game was.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering why I was like, I went home and one of my roommates was watching it, and then I went into my room for a long time and then came back, and I was like, who won? And he was like, well, it's still in the fourth quarter. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I ended up having to leave at halftime to go meet up with Crystal from Board Game Blitz. Played a couple games with her at a local board game cafe called Tables. But as we were pulling into there, like as soon as we left the place, I put it on the radio. And as we pulled up, they're like, all right, the game's, now going into the second half. He's like, all the other games are wrapped up so far today, but this one, because of its hour-long delay, is just now in the third quarter. And it's like, damn it. Like, if it hadn't been for that delay, I'd have had time to watch the full game, then meet up with Crystal, and everything would have been perfect. But
Womp womp. You got to play board games instead.
yeah, which still had a lot of fun. Crystal was super nice. It was great getting to actually meet her.
We've now met all three of them?
Yes.
Separately.
Yes.
But we played Race for the Galaxy, which went really quick, like 30, 45 minutes for a 3-player game. I won that one. I had a pretty awesome victory point engine going and blasted through victory points with the quickness. And then we played Dice Forge, which is a dice construction game where each player has their own set of dice, and they have removable faces on all of them. They're D6s. And on every turn, you roll your dice. Like on Jeff's turn, I also roll my dice. Zach would roll his dice. And so you're doing something on everybody's turn. And the things you roll, you have a little like tracker sheet that's really nice cardboard, like punch out so the cubes stay in place, which is really cool. But as you roll, when it's not your turn, you're just building up more and more resources that when it is your turn, you get to use to like buy new dice faces that you could swap out so you can get better stuff on your dice. You can buy some different power-up cards that give you ongoing abilities, one-time use abilities, things like that. And then some of them are just pure victory points. I got last really bad.
Feel bad.
Yeah.
Dice just aren't your friend, man.
No, they are not. At one point, I rolled like 3 times in a row the only 2 original dice faces I had. Like I had 1 original dice face on each die, and like 3 turns in a row, I rolled those. So they were like just the most basic of basic pieces.
You shouldn't...
Just like you, basic.
The most basic of bros.
Yes, I'm super basic. But it was a bunch of fun. Played 2 games in less than 2 hours and had a good time. I guess the place Tables has only been open a month or 2. And so right now it's very much just a bunch of games on the shelf, and you pay your little $5 cover, and then you can play them. But they are in process of getting some food and liquor licensing stuff so that they can start having
Booze time.
food and drinks and things like that. So,
Hooray.
but it was nice. I liked it. I had a fun time.
Yeah, I definitely want to try that one out. I really like how the board layout. And how, like all the cards like slot into the sort of board-like area that it has.
Yeah, and the cards that you play with are random, so you don't always have the same power-up cards available in any given game, which is really nice as well. And that affects, like, some of those cards affect which die faces you can add. So, like, there was one set of die faces that for us weren't even in the game. But it's cool. Otherwise, those were the only real board games I played this weekend. I played a decent amount of craps and did not do well.
You're pretty crap at it?
I was pretty crap at craps. Then we also played one thing of roulette. Like one of the first nights we were all there, we all got together, threw $5 into a big pot, and then put it on black, and black hit. And then we had all agreed to let it ride one time, and then it came out red, and we lost all our money. So
it was, what, like $40?
So it was like $90 that we bet because there was 9 of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was about 45, and then it got up to 90, and then it would have been 180 if it had hit again, and that's when we would have cashed out.
Yeah.
So
you should have just taken the $90 and run.
Correct.
But they all agreed.
We did.
No, I'm saying you should have.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Burn all your friendships, but you would have.
I should have just reached over.
You would have gotten $85 out of it
because you generally reaching onto the table and grabbing a bunch of chips and then running away. That goes super well in casinos, especially in Vegas. They don't break your kneecaps or anything.
No, it's all about the eyes. You just grab it like, this is mine. I'm taking this, and then they will see that you are the alpha male in the situation, and they will relent.
Yeah, I've heard that's true.
Yeah, don't blink, Adrian. You just
These are mine.
Blinking is a sign of weakness.
Yep.
And I am leaving.
So I had a good time though. Spent way too much money, but
Shocking.
Drank a whole lot, and it was a good time. Went out to the Hoover Dam Got to see that.
Didn't go swimming.
It was my second time. Did not go swimming. We were talking about that guy almost the entire drive out there. But it was Megan's first time seeing it, as well as Jason and Andrew, who went with us. My second time. It's pretty cool. It is. It's really big.
I went to my parents rented a houseboat on Lake Mead for a week once. So
awesome.
I got stung by a scorpion there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That sucks.
And what's funny is that because I was there with my friend, and for whatever reason, like, we were starved for entertainment, so we stopped by this thing, we saw this pile of rocks, and we're like, let's grab rocks and just throw them into the water. And so my parents were like, make sure to check under those rocks. And I was like, why? Because there's scorpions and stuff. I'm like, okay. And so I was checking underneath all these rocks, didn't see anything. And then literally the first time I was like, man, I bet there aren't any scorpions. Pick one up, got stung by a scorpion.
Was big scorpion? Little scorpion?
It was little.
Okay.
And I hid it from my parents for like 5 years because I didn't want them to know that they were right. And I was like, I could have died. Like, I didn't know the scorpion. I was like, I could have died, man.
Wait, so like, was there any like major reaction? Like, did
my
it
hand swelled up
or?
a decent amount, but I just sort of hid it from.
They never noticed.
No,
I'm glad you had attentive parents, Zach.
Yeah. Well, they were busy doing other things, so.
My hand swelled up a bunch. It was fine.
It wasn't like a marshmallow hand or anything like that, but like it went like this, like, because I had to hit a bit or stung right near the thumb.
Like
on the palm of your hand.
The palm, yeah. It got to about like twice as thick, but like over here you couldn't really tell as much. So it was like,
it's like if you jammed your
thumbs up. Yeah, like
It's like if you jammed your thumb real
exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay. What games did you guys play? What kind of shenanigans did you get into this weekend?
So this weekend we went Saturday to D-Bolt's 4-year anniversary.
Yep.
Which is also my 3-year Denversary.
It's also which ends like 5th or 6th anniversary that weekend too.
Yeah. So I always go to the D-Bolt thing because that was like the first thing I ever did when I came to Denver. The second time. And
the for real time.
The for real time, yeah. And started drinking around 2:30. We played a bunch of bags.
Yes.
Paul and I crushed Zach and Wes twice.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we played Lazer Ryderz.
Yes, we did.
Which is the coolest looking box I have ever seen in my whole life. It's basically a like giant VHS collection.
A set of 4, yeah.
A set of 4. Each one is a different player, but they're all supposed to be like different like episodes of the show that this comes out of. And they all have like awesome backstories. And
and they're super 80s themed.
Ultra,
yes.
yeah.
You've got Super Sheriff, Laser Shark, Fantastic Wave Rider or something like that. And then Phantom Cosmonaut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're all super goofy, but hilarious.
Yes.
Gameplay wise, it wasn't so bad. Not as good as the art and backstory, however.
But when that's a 10 out of 10, it's hard to match it. And also, we weren't playing the optimal way because this is basically a racing game where you're trying to get it's sort of based on. It looks like it's sort of based around Tron.
If anyone's played X-Wing or X-Wing minigame, like the different sort of like straight, left, right, depending on speed, that's very similar to what this is. But each player gets like a whole set,
and that's basically the game where you're using those to trace a path, and then like in the light bikes in Tron or whatever they're called, I can't remember.
Yes,
okay.
Cycles,
light cycles. Yeah, you can't if you hit somebody else's light path, you crash. And so it's all about trying to get into these prisms and get 3 prisms before anybody else does.
And you have to do it at the right angle,
Yeah.
and you have to cross it, and you can't be like just on the edge. And each person gets a different power that can let them do different stuff. And then there's like a speedometer, but it's a light speedometer because you're going at the speed of light. And you can
And one thing that I really like is that when you're you can always just go straight, obviously, but if you try and make a curve, you have to roll a die, and if you're going super fast, it's harder for you to make a curve. So if you're rolling, if you decide to do a bank on 4, you roll the die, and you have to get a 4, 5, or 6 in order to actually make the turn. Otherwise, you just keep going straight. You didn't bank hard enough, and you just keep going. So it fucked me over twice. Where I was like, all right, I want to make this turn, and nope, I'm just going to continue going straight.
I'm just going to keep going straight.
Oh god.
So when that happens, do you pick up the curved piece and replace it with like a straight piece?
You don't put the curved piece down until you successfully do it.
You just put the straight piece down.
Yeah.
Of that
you
speed
say, I'm going to attempt a curve. Roll. Nope, not doing it. Just going straight. All right.
Okay.
And if you hit a 6, it's like you spin out, you do it, but then your speed goes to 1.
Yeah.
So you go all the way down.
Okay.
Yeah. And then depending on your speed is the length of the piece that you can put down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the main way that I'd say we were playing wrong is that because the table was sort of narrow, we actually had 2 people on each side instead of like a square table where everybody had their own different side. That way it would have had 4 people all going to the same spot versus like 2 people colliding, or not colliding, trying to collide and then missing, and then the people that got on the inside were like, oh, well, we have all these prisms here. So it went a lot faster than it should have.
Okay.
So that's where I'm reserving judgment on the game until I actually play it how it's supposed to be played.
On a nice, like 3-foot square table.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then they do recommend if you are on a smaller size, you take out like the 5 straights, the 4 like soft turns, and then the 3 hard turns.
Yeah.
The speed 3s, 4s, and 5s.
Okay.
So it kind of just shrinks the game down a little bit.
Right on.
Yeah.
But Lazer Ryderz, it looks real good.
It does.
Also,
yeah.
the pieces themselves looked really good. They're all really shiny, sparkly,
holographic.
hollow.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. They look like lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely has one of the best board presents, like, on the table.
Yeah, I know. I'd seen that you guys posted some pictures on Twitter. I was trying to vaguely stay off of social media on my phone and like enjoy Vegas and being with like my friends there. But I'm addicted, so I still saw a lot of your posts and stuff, and it did look pretty cool on the table. And then I saw it in your car when you took us to the airport that you're like, oh yeah, I just got back from the game store, and here are all the games I bought.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Lazer Ryderz, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, everyone left, and I continued drinking until about 11 p.m. That's when I started feeling sick. Not so much because I drank too much, but because I have a cold now. And so I was hungover and had a cold on Sunday.
And bronchitis.
Bronchitis is going away. Got antibiotics for that. I had a cough for like a month, but now it's just turned into a cold.
Hooray.
Hooray.
That sucks.
Yeah. Before that, though, we played Gloomhaven at some point.
Yes.
Was it Thursday?
Friday, I think.
Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Played another round of Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the scenarios are wildly difficult swinging.
Yeah.
The difficulty on the scenarios goes up and down depending on which one you do. Mm-hmm. That's the main thing I can say without saying a lot of spoilers is difficulty still swings.
Yeah.
This last one was pretty easy.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No. Could have been easier if we had the right cards.
I didn't put enough movement cards into my deck. And so I was, after we cleared the first room, I was basically just trying to follow you guys.
And you're like, I'm so slow.
Yeah.
I have some nice like move 4, move 3. Mm-hmm. I took up my jump 4. I could have just jumped right over those obstacles.
Yeah, I have a jump I could have gotten to, but I didn't keep it.
Yeah. I took the healing.
You did.
And then I didn't have to heal.
Yep.
I was like, does anyone need healing? That's all the cards I have. Is everyone at full? Oh, weird. Did Gloomhaven, and then at game night I played Blood Bowl, but I'll save that to the end.
And what about you, Zach? Did you play anything else besides Gloomhaven and
I did.
Lazer Ryderz?
So while we were waiting for before Gloomhaven, while we were waiting for Ant and Jeff to get off work.
It was like 7:30 by the time we got off work that day.
And then it still took you an hour to get to Paul's place.
Yeah.
Because you stopped by D-Bolter.
So they had a Dunkelheisen that they released. I had to go there and get some.
It's not like it wasn't there on Saturday.
I mean, I didn't realize it was going to be not there.
Well, anyway, so me and Paul had some time to kill, and so we played a couple 2-player games. Now, the first one is one of the games that I bought recently, Raptor.
Okay.
So this is a 2-player game where one person is a set of scientists trying to capture. They find this island where there's still some raptors around, like velociraptors, and they go to try and capture the velociraptor babies. The other player is the velociraptor mom, who isn't going to have any of that shit. She's a strong, independent velociraptor. She don't need no man. And so the raptor's just trying to kill all the scientists.
Okay.
And the scientists, or to have her babies escape. And then the scientists are trying to capture the babies, or basically trank the raptor mom.
Yeah.
And so it has a card play system where each player has a set of 9 cards numbered 1 through 9, and they all do different things.
Okay.
And in turn order, you both choose a card face down and you flip it. Whoever had the lower numbered card does whatever the action says. Yeah, it looks like that. does whatever the action says, and then whoever had the higher numbered card subtracts the lower numbered card's number from their number, and that's how many actions they do.
Okay.
So if I played a 5 and Jeff played a 2, Jeff would do the 2 action, the 2 action, but then I would get 3 actions to do.
Okay.
And if you're the Raptor, you can run around, you can eat the scientists, you can move your little Raptor babies around to try and have them escape. Or if you're the scientist, you can lay down, you can trank the babies, you can trank the mama, you can go and attempt to capture one of the babies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's just this back and forth, and the cards you play are face up until you basically run out of cards and you have to reshuffle. So if you see the 6 numbers they've played down, you're like, I know that they have either a 3 or a 6 left. So you can try and base yours off of that. And there are ways to get those cards back early so you can have like different levels of what cards they have versus you. I liked it a lot. It took about 30 minutes, I think. And there were definitely swings of, in the beginning, I felt the Raptor was super overpowered, and then once Paul got a bunch of the scientists out, I was like, oh god, they're everywhere and I can't do anything. Because once you start tranking the Raptor, it takes more actions to be able to move with it. And even just tranking it once, to take 2 actions to move once really hurts. And then it definitely had a good balance, I thought. And I enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely am going to bring it to game night. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Jeff pulled up some pictures here, and it looks really neat.
It's like little mountains. It's got movable terrain and stuff like that.
One thing I like is that the scientist can only move 1 space per action, but the Raptor mom can move basically as many spaces as she wants in 1 line.
Okay.
And so that's what those rocks are there to stop her from just moving everywhere. And so there's a real big positioning aspect to be like, the scientists don't want to be in an area where the Raptor can just spend 1 action to move right by them and then eat them.
Yeah.
But then the Raptor, you don't want to be within eye line of one of the scientists because they'll trank her.
Okay.
Ah.
So it was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. I'd heard really good things about it, and so I'm glad to see it didn't disappoint.
Whose was that? Is that yours?
Yes, that's mine.
Okay. Is that one of the ones you picked up at Black and Red?
Yeah, I saw they had a used copy of it.
Okay.
And on Cool Stuff, I saw that it was like for almost $30 or something like that, and I'm like, well, if it's under 20, I'll go pick it up, and it was $17.50.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so I basically got it for 50% off.
Cool. I look forward to trying it.
Yeah,
I love used games.
yeah. And then the other game I played real quick was ZERTZ, which is from the GIF series of abstract 2-player games.
Yeah.
This one's basically you have these discs that you're putting balls on, and then you put a ball on and you take a disc and you're trying to capture the balls, and it has like sort of this checkers mentality that it's like if you have 2 balls right next to each other, you have to capture one of them if you can by jumping over it.
Okay.
And I've played it twice now. The first time, for whatever reason, I kept forgetting that you could jump from any direction. It's not like you can only jump from like, going forwards or something like that.
Okay.
So I kept setting myself up for another turn, and then Paul's like, oh, okay. And he just immediately jumped 3 things. And I'm like, oh, God damn it, I fucked that up again.
Interesting.
Yeah. I definitely liked it better the second time because the board sort of shrinks, because if you place a ball down, then you remove one of the discs. But if you capture a ball, you don't remove a disc. So you put a bunch of balls out, it shrinks until you have to capture something. And then like a bunch of them get captured, and then it shrinks down again, and you win. It's like the white marbles you need to get 4 of, 5 of the gray, or 6 of the black, or if you get 3 of each of them. So you're like, I'm gonna give you this black one because you don't need it, so it'll set me up to get this white one that I do. So yeah,
interesting.
It's a little bit like Quarto in that like you're sort of giving your opponent like the piece that
Okay.
And in that respect of like I'm setting you up to take this piece so that I get a different piece.
Yeah, that was one of the games I played on Wednesday. I told you I couldn't remember. I played Quarto, which is really good. And then I've played GIF, the main like title in that series with Paul. It's a really good abstract. I'm really interested in trying out other games of this one, so I'm glad to hear that you thought this one was good.
So yeah, that was pretty much what I played this weekend.
I almost forgot. I finished up another game of Food Chain Magnate on Board Game Core, and I won. I pulled off a very late game victory. It was pretty awesome.
Was that the one with Wesley?
No, it was one of the ones with the rest of the people from Twitter, Jamie Maltman,
Gotcha.
Eric Buscemi joined us for this one.
Okay.
To push it up to 5. We got destroyed in the game with Wes. That one finished up. We started a new one already. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the main guy in that, Siddharth, I think. I don't have his name pulled up. I think it's Siddharth. He had like 800 to like maybe 100 to like 30 to like 10. It was
Brutal.
It was, real bad.
I was talking to Wes a bit about it because I had saw that he started another game and he said he was going to give it one more shot because he just doesn't like the UI of it and how slow it is. You don't get any of the table talk or anything like that. And then it's because certain things it can take so long that it's like you forget what other people are doing, you forget what you were trying to do and stuff like that. So
which one of the things I'm playing around with more on this particular play is there's a note function, and so I'm trying to like. When I finish up my turn, I'm like, okay, well, next turn I want to do this. Then I just make a quick note. Like, next turn, hire these, train this, and keep an eye on other players doing this. It is interesting because there is perfect information. Like, you can go back at any point and click the history and scroll through, and you can always see what everybody has hired and fired and purchased and what they've done. And so there's a lot of information there to make the right decisions. But you're right, you kind of lose some of that, intuitive feel when you're sitting around a table seeing other people do things. And have it really click, oh yeah, you have a waitress in your back pocket, you have a pricing manager, So I don't know. I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm getting to just rip through a bunch of plays of Food Chain, which continues to be an amazing game. So
says you, yep. That's about it.
Right on. Yeah, well, I think that wraps up all of our banter stuff and what we've been playing, which means, Jeff, that we're ready for another segment, aren't we?
We are indeed ready for the Bloody Minute.
Yeah.
Hooray!
It's back.
It's back because I finally played a postseason game.
Or a preseason game?
Postseason.
Oh.
So all new teams get preseason games. All old teams get postseason games. Preseason games are resurrection, where it doesn't matter what the hell happens, you all get your guys back. Postseason, because my team has a season under it already, means all the casualties carry over even in these postseason games. Also, you get half winnings and no MVP. So
why do it then?
So we have to redraft. And you only have a certain amount of money out of your treasury and depending on the value of your team that you can spend towards redrafting. So even if you're playing these extra games, you do get star player points. You just don't get an MVP.
Oh, okay.
And you get half winnings to help redraft your team. So even if you only get like 20K and you get a guy that gets a new skill, it's a wash because you got 20K and that guy's 20K more expensive. So it's worth actually playing. I need to learn how to redraft though because I've never done it before. So I played against David, our friend, been on the show many times. He is playing his Season 2 Nurgle team, and I am playing... which were the Radamal, which is all the metal band named characters. And the war bosses are continuing on to season 5 that we're going into. It was a tie, mostly because we just clunked against each other and didn't do anything to each other the whole game.
Except for...
There was one zombie that I ended up killing, mostly because... zombies on Nurgle, they're really cheap, and if he actually kills someone on another team, he gets a zombie for free. He just resurrects them as a zombie. So he bit the dust. They have something called Decay, which means they take 2 casualty rolls. One was just a badly hurt, the other was dead. So that's what happened to him. Otherwise, even though he has 2 guys with Mighty Blow and Claw, no problem for me. He just kept whiffing on those rolls over and over.
I saw so many 3s and 4s.
We just rolled hot, steamy piles of garbage the whole game, which was nice. I mean, we didn't get a lot of star player points, but we also didn't it was a postseason game. We didn't really want to murder each other, but you sort of wanted those casualties. But you wanted the casualty to just be badly hurt. You didn't want to kill him. Other than that, nothing really dramatic happened. I fucked up near the end. After I had received the ball, I had broken through his line a little bit. After a pitch invasion, of course, which he knocked down the entire left side of my field on 6s.
Oh, wow.
That were all stunned. Made it through that somehow. But I blitzed before I filled the gap behind him, which I could have done. And on my blitz, I got both down. And then he had a clear line to where my ball carrier was. And then no one was going to score at that point. And then we just continued to sort of clunk against each other.
I heard a lot of clunking.
There was a lot of clunking, mostly because all of his guys are armor. All of his good guys are armor 9, and all of my guys are armor 9 except my thrower. So yeah, it wasn't the most spectacular of games, but I killed a rotter. I want to say it was Dead Mustaine bit the dust because there is now a Dead Mustaine 2 on his team. He's not going to come up with names again. So
no.
Yeah.
You sure it's not Dead Mustaine the second?
Sure. Yes. So, yeah, the game ended 1-1 tie. Nothing super dramatic happened, but that will be, we'll see what happens. I might be playing another game Wednesday at Fiction for board game night.
Right on.
My last postseason, because I did have a playoff game, hence only 2 postseason games. So we'll see.
Well, and now that the Bloody Minute is back, but also done, we can move on to some news and Kickstarter stuff.
I guess. On to news and Kickstarters. We will start with news because that's first. First up in news is Android Netrunner is getting a new core set. I think we had known this was coming for a while because they were going to be doing like rotating out old expansions, and I think the time is happening soon where they're going to be doing that. And so they've made a whole new core set?
Yeah, that happened a little while ago is when they started doing that. Yeah. But a lot of those cards were basically core to a lot of gameplay.
The original like data packs.
Yeah,
and
some of the
stuff?
original data packs. So that's why this updated one takes from a couple of, or I think it's 1 or 2 of the cycles. And it also has new art too, which is it's like updated art in terms of like aging.
Oh, okay.
So Chaos Daria was originally a kid. Now she's like a college student.
I remember that.
Yeah. But one thing that's really nice is that if you don't have this, if you only have the original core set in the data packs, you don't need to get this because all the cards that are in here are previous cards.
Okay. So I have everything from that first like set of data sets. So I don't really need this.
No. It's basically you're like, oh, okay. You just find I think they have a list of all the cards that are going to be in there. And then it's just like you basically pull them together. And now you can play with these cards.
Gotcha.
So
unless you want the new art.
yes,
Yeah.
which I mean, some of it's pretty nice, you know.
Yeah, some of it does look pretty sweet.
Of course I steal from the rich. They're the ones with all the money.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm sure you'll still need 2 to 3 core sets.
For the new one, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's not going to be like they'll never learn and be like, let's just do 3 of each card in here, so you only have to buy 1. Why do that when you can just make people buy 2?
Why spend $40 when you can spend $80?
Exactly. But I mean, it's also nice it means that you can then build like. In my heyday, I would have like 4 to 5 decks of each of runners, and then also 4 of the corpse too.
Yeah.
So having 2 to 3 core sets was nice in that regard.
Okay. All the same. It looks like all the same tokens and
Yes.
cardboard punch outs and everything.
Pretty much just they just figured out which cards that they wanted to be in the new core set, and then made new art for it.
Maybe a new rule book?
I mean, I'm sure that there is because they had so much errata in there
to be able to learn the game a lot easier.
I mean, that's the hope, right?
Yeah. I made a nice custom play mat so I could actually like learn how to play the game. Went to Kinko's. It was
Nice.
big. Put it on canvas.
Ooh, fancy. I just have like 3 to 4 Netrunner ones that I won, so
That must be nice.
Yeah, I don't have any Netrunner stuff anymore. I've gotten rid of it all, except for like a big bag of tokens that I still have. But nobody that I know who plays still
like
uses
the cardboard tokens.
Yeah.
You should just throw that away. I don't think anyone is going to be like,
Exactly.
I will pay $20 for that.
Well, I wasn't gonna I'm not gonna charge somebody for them. Anyway, next news.
So, Netrunner.
I don't
It's got
know.
a new core set.
You're pretty greedy.
Next up in news, Small World is coming out with a big expansion called Sky Islands. I would put this on the equivalent of like Small World Underground in its scale of new content.
And that was 6 years ago that Underground came out.
That seems like an incredibly long time ago.
For board games, it is.
Yeah.
Right. So this also adds another player, so you can play with 6 people. And yeah, it's just the board is a set of 3 new Sky Islands. One that's 2 territories, one that's 3, one that's 4. And they're connected by some little like cloud bridge looking things.
Well, I'm sure there's probably 2 different boards in there for,
maybe
3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, and it's it's probably on each side, but then this board connects to the main board.
Yeah.
So
Underworld could do that as well, right?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, this one adds the Sky Islands are accessible by a beanstalk and a stairway on the main map.
Yeah. There was a, like...
But you can't go up there until you are specifically allowed to.
Yeah. There was like a promo thing that allowed you to combine Small World and Underworld. Because Underworld was a standalone.
Gotcha.
Whereas this one is not.
It's hard to remember because they did the Small World 2 like iPad app, and it had a ton of Small World exclusive stuff in it that would let you play 6-player Small World and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a 6-player like double-sided thing.
Yeah. This is also going to introduce 7 new races and 7 unique special powers. So they've revealed so far Scavengers and Storm Giants. So
yeah, I was never a fan. I played Small World once, and I was like, I don't know. Like I just didn't like that it was too deterministic for me.
Yeah. I think that it's a really good game if you're new to board gaming, but by the time I'd played it, I'd played a lot of games that I thought were just better. And I don't really like area control, so.
It plays a little too long. Mm-hmm. I like it, but
It's got some interesting things.
Yeah, I've got a lot of expansions for this.
All right, next up.
Next up in news, 7 Wonders celebrates 7 years. They're coming out with 2 anniversary packs that expand on the expansions from 7 Wonders. 7 Wonders Leaders and 7 Wonders Cities. Each will come with 15 new cards, new leaders, new cities, and such.
Yeah, it's basically because the game's 7 years old now.
Yeah.
And they're like, we should do something for that because 7.
Yeah, 7s and 7s. So, but not much information on the exact details of it.
Yeah, they've thrown out some names of some new leaders. I mean, if you like the expansions from 7 Wonders, I don't see why you wouldn't also love these, especially because they seem to be just a basic booster and will probably be pretty affordable.
Have you played the expansions?
Never.
Okay, me either. Have you?
No,
okay.
I have not.
So we have no context.
Do not.
I like the base game enough. Who needs expansions? Next up in news is a new edition of Kingsburg is coming. Apparently, Kingsburg came out 6 years ago? 2007. 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
6 years plus 4 years.
Yes.
Yep. So it's going to end. It brings all 6 of the expansions into just one base game. But according to Quinn over on Shut Up and Sit Down, he said it isn't as pretty as the old edition was.
Yeah, they have a little picture of it, and it does not look.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's because it was Fantasy Flight did the first one, and this is not Fantasy Flight doing this one. So.
Yeah. Yeah. This is being done by Giochi Uniti out of Italy.
Yeah, an Italian company. Yeah.
So yeah, if you have been interested in getting Kingsburg since it's been out of print for a while, new edition is coming with all expansions.
Have you played that one at all?
Nope.
Jeff?
I saw Kingsburg being played at a game night recently, but that, I think, was it.
I have Kingsport Festival, which is like the Kingsburg, but Cthulhu themed. I haven't played it yet.
Of course.
So I got it super cheap somewhere. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
But I've heard really good things about Kingsburg, especially the expansions. I've heard that they're definitely mandatory, so I'm a little bit looking forward to seeing what they pull from the expansions into this.
Right.
Don't look forward to it too much.
And having not seen...
I'll fall on my face.
Jesus. Having not seen the original, I think this one looks fine. Like, maybe compared to the original, it's lacking, but the picture they have of it, the new edition, I think it looks all right. So, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And one last little bit of news that I snuck on here at the end that I don't think Jeff got onto the lists.
No, but you told me about it.
Yeah. You may have heard there was recently people have been talking about the fact that a Viking grave that had been excavated previously and was thought to be a man for like decades was found to be a woman through some DNA testing and everything. And like based on all the weaponry and horses and everything that she had buried with her, it's pretty indicative that she was probably a powerful warrior and leader. And adding to that was the fact that she was buried with a war game on her lap, because Vikings totally played war games to like hone strategy and tactics and things like that, which I think is awesome. I would love to see pictures of what this war game looked like and learn about it, because who doesn't want to play an ancient Viking board game?
We just need to have friends that know a lot about ancient Viking board games.
Kaiser?
I'm not sure if that's in his realm of study or not, but
he might know somebody who it is, though.
He might know some ancient Roman board games.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the last little bit of news I wanted to sneak on the end there.
Ancient Viking warriors are cool.
Yes.
Reminds me that I have to beat Hellblade.
I need to play that.
It's real good.
Did you download it or get a disc of it?
PC. So
Okay. All right.
there's no physical PC releases anymore. What are you, insane?
They're just a pain in the ass to find.
Yeah.
You can
or
still-
it just comes with like here's a digital key code.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter anyway.
Or just go to like Walmart and look at their little thing. Like I still see, when I went there last, I saw World of Warcraft for like $20, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yep.
That's it for news. We're going to go on to Kickstarters now because that's what comes after news. First up on Kickstarter is Stellar Leap. This one is just about funded. $6,800 of its $8,500 goal, 150 backers, and 1 month to go. You can back this one for $39 or $49 with its expansion.
Yeah. So this is the second release from Weird Giraffe Games. They had previously done. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank.
Super Hack Override.
Yes, which is kind of a fast-paced little hacking game. And this one is like a kind of small, fast-paced 4X space game. We had the privilege of, well, I don't know if you guys had a chance to meet her. I met Carla the first night I was in Gen Con at kind of an impromptu get-together and drink thing with...
On Wednesday when we weren't there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, that's why I didn't know if you had a chance to meet her at any other point. Like, because she was also at the Punchboard Media Meetup on Saturday. I saw her. I didn't get to talk to her at the media meetup thing. But anyway, I got to meet Carla, who runs Weird Giraffe Games. She's super nice. And like I said, this game is a quick little 4X space game. It plays 1 to 4 players and takes approximately 20 minutes per player. You know, we'll see if that actually lives up to it. I'm always leery about any game's time suggestions.
Right. Unless it's, what was it, Paths of Glory, the one of those 480 minutes.
Yeah. So in this game, you are going to have 6 columns that are represented by different dice values. And on your turn, you're going to roll 2 dice. And then you can apply some bonuses to manipulate those dice. And then that's going to, the numbers on those 2 dice are going to determine which 2 columns worth of planets make resources. And anybody who's on those planets earns resources. And you can spread out and search, flipping more and more planet cards. There's missions and events, and everybody has like a secret objective that they're working on. And you keep playing until there's been 6 events, and then the game's over, and you score everything up and see who wins. Pretty simple in terms of rules overhead, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks nice on the table.
Yeah.
And I remember, I felt like it was at least 6 months ago, if not more, that she was like, I remember when she was like originally trying to figure out the design of because of the game of Stellar Leap, how it actually looks on the board and stuff like that.
Right.
Or on the box. I remember her putting a bunch of different ones, and then eventually she went with another one. She went with, I think it was one of the ones I ended up choosing too, because she put like a pole or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember her doing that for a while. So I was glad to see this one finally came out for her.
Yep. And they did the same thing a lot with Super Hack Override. I remember like kind of chiming in on some of their artistic choices for cards that she posted on Twitter. So they do that a lot, getting feedback from Twitter and Facebook and the community in general. So hopefully this game will fun for them and be successful.
Seems pretty close to doing that, and it's only got a month left, so plenty of time.
Yep.
Stellar Leap, 1 month to go.
And you can check it out on Tabletopia. So
Cool.
Which is nice.
Yes.
Next up in Kickstarter is Merlin and Pioneers from Queen Games. This one is well funded, a bit under 90,000 of its 20,000 goal, about 860 backers, and just a couple of days left to go. You can get each game individually for $50 or $60, or together as a late bird backer for 95, or normally for 100 for both.
Yep. So the main reason we have this one on here, there's not nearly as much time as that we normally try to have on when we talk about Kickstarters. I just still cannot understand why anybody backs anything from Queen Games. This is their 44th Kickstarter, and they still immediately at the beginning of the page, like just a little bit down, have a whole post on their past problems with Kickstarter and how they promised they figured it out this time and there won't be any issues this time. Oh, sorry for all of you who are still waiting on your stuff. Here's a link to a form you can fill out that will hopefully placate you. They make some decent games. You know, like Merlin is designed by Stefan Feld, you know, who is certainly pretty renowned.
I know Kyle from Sounding Board Games was really looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So I don't blame you if you want to get these games, but I highly recommend not doing it through Kickstarter. I'm a big fan of not supporting people who do poorly at things like fulfillment and customer service, and that's definitely Queen Games.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So buyer beware.
Yep.
Merlin and Pioneers. Next up on Kickstarters is Cerebria, the Inside World. Another well-funded one, 273,000 of its 40,000 goal, 3,200 backers, and just about 2 weeks to back. This one you can get for $60 with no minis, $75 for minis, and $100 for pre-painted minis.
Yeah, which the pre-painted minis that they are showing off look pretty sweet.
Yeah,
the minis themselves are pretty cool. So this is the third Kickstarter from Mind Clash Games, who had previously done Tricarian and Anachrony, which I've heard really good things about both of those. I hadn't had a chance to play them yet, but I want to. And so in this one, you can play 1 to 4 players, but it's definitely kind of a 2-player asymmetrical type game. So like if you play with 4 players, you're just playing 2 versus 2, or if you play with 3 players, it's 2 versus 1. So it's basically Inside Out, the board game. In it, players take on the one of 2 sides. You're either with Bliss or Gloom, which are like the 2 opposing forces in Inside World, that they call this, which is someone's personality. And then you control various spirits that are aligned with them, like Malice and Fear and Love and Joy and things like that. I don't think Joy was actually one of them.
That in Inside Out it was.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, you guys weren't kidding. Those pre-painted ones look really good.
Yeah. So there's like Misery and Delight. Delight was the one, not Joy. Malice and Empathy, Love and Fear, things like that. And it's kind of an area control deck building game. And yeah, I've been going through it. It's not one like, without sitting down and watching a video of it, which I don't watch a lot of rules overview videos for anything. It's hard to get a good idea for how the game plays just by looking at things. But I do know that it's area control and deck building. And at various points, there's triggers that'll come out that you'll take a look at the board state and real quick ascertain like who is currently winning out of Bliss and Gloom. And then you start to build a little tower in the center of the board. And which piece you put is based on who's actually winning. And then that has different effects as the game goes on. Who's winning at what points and things like that. And then ultimately, at some point the game will come to an end and you'll figure out who won overall.
And just note that this does have at least for the US, $7 for shipping too.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. I've seen far worse.
And then $3 for every additional copy too, which is.
And they're saying it takes a little over 2 hours or a little over an hour to just about 2 hours, depending on how many people you're playing with and what mode you're playing.
Lots of stretch goals on this one.
Yeah.
Their next stretch goal is a plastic insert.
That will fit sleeved and unsleeved cards.
It's pretty high for an insert stretch goal, but But yeah, that's Cerebria. You got about 2 weeks. Take a look, especially the minis. The minis are real cool.
Yeah, they really are.
They're kind of, I don't know, Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go with that.
Yeah.
And Mind Clash has done 2 other pretty awesome games and has fulfilled both of them pretty much right on time. So unlike Queen, they're good about fulfilling their Kickstarters. Check it out.
And that's it for Kickstarters.
Yeah.
There's no more Kickstarters.
No more. That's it for the entire thing. The website's shutting down when those projects finish funding.
Those were the last ones that they launched.
They're like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
We're good.
We've made all our money. We don't need more money.
Said no one ever.
Right. All right. Well, that brings us to Jeff's other favorite part of the show, aside from Bloody Minute. He gets to talk about emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you'd like to send us any emails to have them read here on this here podcast. First up on our emails is an email from Andrew, who we called out last week for not emailing us about the Library of Alexandretta. So, Alexandria. I don't know why I think Alexandretta. Is that I don't know.
I think it's from Indiana Jones.
That's right. That sounds right.
Yeah.
This one's titled History Time. A couple weeks ago, you mentioned a Kickstarter for the game Alexandria, which is about the destruction of the Great Library. But even in the Kickstarter, they admit this crazy fact. No one knows when it was actually destroyed. Let's go through the options. 1. First up, and most famous, Julius Caesar's troops burned it down during the siege of the city in 48 BC. A number of ancient historians make this claim, but they were all written at least 200 years later, and some of them say it was only partially burned or that it was just a collection of books that were on the pier awaiting shipment back to Rome. 2. Okay, then there was the time Emperor Aurelian destroyed it while he was retaking the city from the revolt of Queen Zenobia of Palmyra.
Yes.
In 274 AD. We do know that the neighborhood around the library was heavily damaged at this time. Was the library destroyed then? Who knows? 3. After the destruction of the Seraphim by Christians in 391 AD, the Temple of Seriphus held a significant portion of the collection of the library. Once the Emperor Theodosius outlawed paganism, the Patriarch of Alexandria, Theophilus, closed all the temples there and supposedly whipped up a Christian mob that destroyed the temple. But the accounts of the destruction don't mention books, except the 2009 movie Agora, and some say the books had already been moved to Constantinople. 4. The Muslim conquest of Egypt in 642 AD, a bunch of Muslim historians say that this was when the library was destroyed, but all those accounts come from at least 500 years after the event. And a list of notable buildings in Alexandria commissioned at the time of conquest doesn't mention the library, so presumably it was actually already gone by then. Who knows? The game itself is all over the place. The soldier character is dressed like a Greek hoplite and named Ptolemy. That's the best guess I got on how to pronounce that. After the Greek pharaohs, the last of whom, Cleopatra, was defeated in the first option. Then there's a Jewish or Christian character, Tabitha, that probably wouldn't have been in Alexandria until 100 years after this, at the earliest, after the spread of Christianity and the diaspora of the Jews, holding a quill pen that wouldn't be invented until the 500s AD. Then again, they have a guy dressed like an Egyptian pharaoh in the style that would have been gone out of fashion in 332 BC when Alexander conquered Egypt, centuries before any of these options, and even before the library was built. It's anachronistic accoutrement anarchy. Fascinating, wasn't it? Sorry, I tried to keep it short. Jeff,
job.
I hope you had fun pronouncing all those names.
Did you, Jeff?
I did.
Okay. Thank you as always.
Yes.
Yes.
I learned things.
It's good because we called him out on not sending this, that he even talked to us on Wednesday. He's like, oh shit, you guys called me out. I better actually do that.
Correct.
So don't tell us something and then don't do it because we'll get on you.
We're not afraid to call people out on this show,
No.
especially our friends.
Yeah.
Especially our $1 Patreon backers. We have a second email that is slightly longer. This one comes from Steven. Steven writes, Adrian, Jeff, and Zach. I've been listening to your podcast now for a little over a month. You guys do an excellent job. Your effort really shows. Because I like what you're doing, I went back to the beginning and started listening to some of your earlier podcasts. We're all very sorry you did that. These are also quite good, though considerably less polished than your more recent efforts. That's not a criticism, just an observation. You're just getting better over time as you continue to work really hard on what is obviously a labor of love for all three of you.
I hate every second that I do this.
It's just like,
It's torture.
The only thing I hate about it is having to spend time with you guys.
that's the worst part.
That's the worst part. Yeah.
Despite being a little rough around the edges, though, I really like the earlier podcasts. The first one in particular, it stands out to me, but because you three asked yourselves an interesting question. How did each of you get into the gaming hobby? Your answers led me to think about my own experiences, and that raised another question in my mind that I would now like to put to the three of you. If you've answered this question in the past, please forgive me. I haven't finished listening to all your earlier podcasts.
I will not forgive you.
No.
If you've answered it before.
So here we go.
I'll put a curse on your name.
A pox, I tell you.
So here we go. For my own experience, I would have to say that my interest began approximately in 1980 or 1981 when I was 9 or 10. It was long ago, and I don't exactly remember the date. I had biked over to the local mall to check out the hobby store of a kind that had hardly exists anymore. It had all the hobby stuff you'd expect: model trains, airplanes, paint glue, etc., as well as board and role-playing games such as D&D that you couldn't buy at Sears or Montgomery Ward, mostly due to the Satanists, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I wanted a new game that would give me something more than Clue or Risk had to offer. And after wandering around the store for a while, I spotted a game on the shelf that looked interesting. It was called Rise and Decline of the Third Reich. by Avalon Hill Games. I was on a World War II kick at the time and decided to buy the game right then and there with $40 in allowance that I'd saved. That was a mistake.
Dun, dun, dun.
I took the game home, opened the box, and was dismayed. I had never seen a rule book like that in my entire life. It was probably 50-plus pages long. There were also hundreds of little cardboard counters and a complex board that sure didn't look like anything like Monopoly or Life. I spent the next 2 hours of my life trying to decipher the rules before eventually giving up. I just couldn't wrap my 9 or 10-year-old brain around it. It was impossible. I put the game on my bookshelf and left it there for years. By the time I was ready to go off to college in 1989, I had to decide what to take with me to the dorm. Third Reich didn't make the cut. I realized that even if I did learn the rules myself, I'd probably never find anyone who'd be willing or able to play it with me. Internet meetups were in their infancy at this point, and I didn't know that they existed in any case. I came to the realization, even though I had been playing other hobby-like board games and role-playing games, such as Axis and Allies, Conquest of the Empire, and of course, Dungeons & Dragons, with my friends for several years by that time. Like me, they liked complex games, but none of them ever wanted to learn Third Reich, despite my few, admittedly half-hearted efforts to interest them. So here's the two-part question. Have any of you ever purchased a game that you then never played, either because it was too hard to learn or couldn't find anyone to play it with you, or for any other reason?
Zach, do you have one?
No, I just like the the silence is funny.
Silences are funny.
Yeah.
I do not. By the time I got into gaming, my initial purchases were all games that I had tried somewhere before. I was like, holy shit, that's a good game. I'm going to go buy it. And then as I got more and more into the hobby, I got to where I did enough research to where I knew what I was getting into. So yes, I have purchased games that I have not played. I had a whole bunch come in here in the spring that backed up and I have not gotten them played.
It's just you haven't had a chance to do it yet.
Yeah, and so I guess that's that second part. You couldn't find anyone to play it with you. I haven't had a lot of luck getting Panamax to the table or Soul, Last Days of a Star.
Well, I think for a lot of that, it's just we've been too busy with other things.
Yes.
Probably. Because like I said, I'd still try any game once.
Right.
And I don't think, we definitely have a good amount of people that we could spring any game on and be like, okay, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, so for me, it's less of not being able to find people or being too hard. It's more I don't have the time to play all the games that I own and that I want to play.
Gotcha.
Especially when we are playing games specifically, for review and discussion here on the show.
Yeah, the couple that I have, I bought, and then for whatever reason, I just haven't played them. Because there are a lot of times where it's like, oh, that looks cool, and then I just never pull it out. Even though if I did, people are like, I will try it. So.
Probably the most current example is probably of my own mistake / not playing is Through the Ages that I've still owned for, I don't know, almost 4 years now and never played.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole second edition. It's like, do I just fuck off with the first edition and just buy the second edition and never play that? Or
next time we go camping, just chunk it in there.
Yeah.
Plastic and all. Yeah.
It'll burn for a while.
Yeah.
A lot of cards in there. But probably my best example from the question of this email was, it wasn't a game I purchased, but it was a significant other's father's game. It was called Kingmaker. This was the 1974 edition, and it's probably closest to that nightmare that was described earlier of the Third Reich. Just a crazy board of chits and roads and houses of...
Oh, yeah.
And like titles, you could be the
Duke of Lancashire.
Yeah, like the Duke of York. And it depended on, there was almost entirely impenetrable.
Is that still in Chicago?
That was in North Carolina.
And that's where the phrase Kingmaker came from, right? That game?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That was the first king-making game.
Yep.
Literally.
There's no king-making games beforehand.
I don't believe you.
Basically a game about the War of the Roses, and it's...
but that's where the phrase came from.
Yes, clearly.
I still don't believe you.
He doesn't know if he's joking or not.
Yeah, just call me Ripley.
I will not.
I think there's been a ton of other new editions, but I've seen this one at Black and Red every once in a while, and I'll be like, in the used board game section.
Oh, really? How much is it?
It's not very expensive. It's just like, I could purchase that game and just stare at it and never play it.
Well, I would play it with you. I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's still pretty widely regarded as a really good strategy and war game, especially one that came out in 1974.
Right, yeah.
Right?
But it's definitely the ultra of cardboard chit type war games. I don't think I ever played it correctly. Ever.
Nice.
And question 2. If you did purchase a game you didn't play, why did you never play it?
So my main one that I have for that is I had bought Twilight Imperium 3rd Edition, and I had, undone everything from the sprues and stuff like that. And then I remember at one point I had it in back of my car, and then Bob was in my car at the same time. And he's like, oh, I have that game in both expansions. And I was like, really? And then that's when we started playing with that. And so I'm glad that I bought that game just to know that, like, it basically made Bob know that I was interested in the game, and he told me that he had the game.
Right.
So, and then we always played with his copy, and I ended up trading or giving mine away. So I never actually played my copy of it. But yeah.
For me, I mean, yeah, there's a few games. Like, technically, I've never played my copy of Legendary Encounters Predator because I say, like, you guys have sleeved and organized copies that I can play, and I don't want to sleeve and organize that. I have things like, I've not played my copy of Dominant Species since it became my copy of Dominant Species. It's the same thing with, like I mentioned before, Panamax. I have that, and I've had that now for, I don't know, 6-7 months, and I still haven't had a chance to play it. It's definitely, for me, it's pretty much in every single instance time or convenience.
Yeah. For me, for a couple of them, I'd rather just play something that I already know than learn something new just right now because I'm learning so many other new things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just never got around to playing Through the Ages or Blood Bowl Team Manager or Relic or Forbidden
Relic.
Stars or many other games.
We definitely need to get a game of Forbidden Stars going soon, though.
Yeah.
I want to play that.
I heard Relic's like Talisman.
Yeah, but in the 40K.
Yeah. Our Talisman's good, though.
I have not heard that.
Okay. Finishing the email, I'd like to know, and I'm sure other listeners would too. Well, you just did.
Yeah.
Yep. Take care and
You
keep
didn't
up.
have a choice.
Yeah. Take care and keep up the good work, Steve. P.S. I just sponsored your Patreon page at the $5 a month level. I hope that helps and is large enough that you won't mock me on your show for being a cheapskate who wasn't willing to fork out the 10 or 25. No, we only
$1.
shit on the people that do dollars.
Yeah.
As long as it's still Eric.
Yes.
I'm sure once a nice person does more than $1 that we don't know, I guess. Random listener stranger.
They know. They
know the penalty now.
At this point, they're like, we really need to just add that as one of the perks.
It's the cheapskate level. That's what it is. That's what it's called.
Yes.
Which $5 has not, and so we won't mock you, and we do. It does help, and we do
really
appreciate
it. Yeah,
we appreciate all of everybody who supports us over on our Patreon because that money lets us do more awesome things for the show.
Yes.
Which I'm a big fan of. I spent a decent amount of time in Vegas talking to Richard about our plans for the website. He's going to help with web dev for it.
That's good.
So,
if you would like to send more emails, send emails to emails@milehighgameguys.com.
all right. So I forgot last week 2 things.
Okay.
And I'm going to cover those 2 things right now.
That's the only you forgot 2 things last week.
There were
remembered everything else.
2 very
week,
specific
right?
things that I forgot.
Okay.
I'm not saying they are the only 2 things, but these are in fact 2 things I forgot.
You have remembered that you forgot them.
Correct.
There could be things that you forgot.
Yes.
You forgot.
Yes. Unknown.
Exactly.
So we got a direct message on Twitter after our Fury of Dracula episode.
Okay.
And he said, loved hearing the explanation for Fury of Dracula. I always thought it was one of those stupid hidden movement games, but I think it was Zach definitely conveyed it being kind of soulless Euro with his lack of enthusiasm in the rules explanation. So I paid $240 to get it, and I can't wait to play it. Your friend, Euro for the win. And then, short time later, update, angry face. Just got FOD in, played it, not happy. This had no Euro mechanics, no cube pushing. Only thing I was pushing was a stupid card on a stupid track. I was completely hoodwinked. I should have listened to the whole episode. I sold it for $25 and 2 natural light cans of beer. Yours truly, Euro gonna get it, Zach.
That's what you get.
Listen to the whole episode.
And the second thing that I forgot to mention last week, so we're just starting it a week late, is we're doing another giveaway. And no, sorry, it's not Lisboa, not yet. It is, however, an Eagle Griffin's game. It is 7 sevens, Sevens? It's 7 with a 7 and then an S.
I'd call it 7 sevens.
Yeah.
Spell out 7 and then put a 7 at the end of 7.
And then throw an S on the end of that 7.
Yes.
It's designed by Jason Tagmeyer, and like I said, it's published by Eagle Griffin Games. And it's a card game for 2 to 4 players where you are using a whole variety of different things related to the number 7 to try and score points. BGG says it takes 20 to 30 minutes.
I always find it funny when they're like, because I think it's just not enough people have rated it for play people or the amount of players. 2 to 4 players. Community says best none.
This game is best with no players. But yeah, this is the last giveaway of part of Punchboard Media's Summer of Great Games giveaway series. Yeah, we decided to take the last slot since right when they started this, we had just given away our massive copy of Gloomhaven. And so we're wrapping up that.
You need some recovery time.
Yes.
So
we're wrapping up that giveaway series with 7 sevens. So the way we're going to do this giveaway is, since this game is being provided by the Punchboard Media Group that we are happy to be a part of here, we are going to do this as a Twitter-only giveaway. And the way you enter is jump over to our main Twitter at MHGameGuys and shoot us a tweet telling us who, besides us, is your favorite contributor to Punchboard Media, and maybe a little bit about why. So we can kind of get some shout outs for all the other awesome people who are part of Punchboard Media and that we are proud to be working with. And at the end of that tweet, make sure and throw up the hashtag MHGG77. And that way we can...
that's just the number.
Yes.
You don't have to spell either of them.
Yes.
So
MHGG number 7.
And that's just the number 7, not don't write number 7.
No. That's too many characters.
Yeah. Have you none of you have watched BoJack Horseman, right?
No.
Okay. One of my favorite background gags is Mr. Peanut Butter, who's like a dog. When he gets banners done, the guy always does it wrong. It says, like, congratulations, Mr. Peanut Butter. And then it says peanut butter is one word. And then later on it says, congratulations, Mr. Peanut Butter. Peanut butter is one word. Don't write one word.
Those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Especially when it happens on real billboards.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So that is how you enter. Jump over our Twitter, again, at MHGameGuys. Tweet us who your favorite non-Mile High Game Guy Punchboard Media member is and why, and include the hashtag MHGG77.
I mean, can't we just be a little selfish and be like, you get two entries in if you mention us instead?
Well, I mean, you could feel free to be like, well, you're my favorite, but if I have to pick somebody else, okay. I don't know. That's fine.
Well, these are my favorite, but the Mile High Game Guy's second favorite.
I like literally everyone else on there, and I guess you're okay too.
You guys get a participation trophy.
We're everyone's second favorite, and their favorite is tied with all the rest.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to
have to be a winner, but there is a loser, and that's us.
Gonna let this contest run for 2 weeks. Well, a week and a half. So this episode will come out on Wednesday, the 20th, and we will give you until Sunday the 1st at noon Mountain Time to enter via the aforementioned Twitter entry process.
Indeed.
So, yeah, best of luck to everybody, and hope you enjoy one of the games we're going to be giving away from Eagle Griffin Games. I think that wraps everything up.
I did have one more thing I just wanted to talk about real quick.
Okay.
So Kotaku, every once in a while, they'll do articles about board games.
Correct.
And they recently just did one about the campaign for North Africa, which is a 1,500-hour-long game to complete.
I believe they put, if you meet up for 3 hours every 2 weeks with you and 9 of your friends, it will take you 20 years to complete.
Yes. The board is 10 feet long. They have a picture of it on 4 of those fold-out tables.
Like 6 foot long fold-out tables.
It is ridiculous. And one thing in particular is, like, these things get stupid complicated and super intricate. Like, the Italians have what they call basically the pasta rule. And it's
macaroni.
The macaroni rule is that they need to have an extra ration of water so that they can cook their pasta.
Yeah, but it's still called the pasta point, but it's because they were issued rations of macaroni. And
that's okay. Which he even talks about, he says, like, realistically, they just cooked it with the
Tomato sauce.
tomato sauce, but A didn't feel like having to deal with that, too.
He didn't want another tomato sauce supply. He
Yeah.
just wanted an extra water supply.
Yes.
And this is the kind of game where, like, literally every tiny little supply is accounted for, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
it talks about that, like, you have to account. It talks about that you have to account for the evaporation of the fuel in your fuel tanks,
Yes.
as well as you're marching across.
And what's great is that when they were trying to create this, like, some people were wondering, is like, how did they play test this? And really, they didn't, because like someone goes, like, what if they contact us and say, like, oh, this is super unbalanced and blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, just play it again. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you just did it wrong. Play it again. 20 years later, I've played it twice now, and I still think it's unbalanced. That's not a large enough sample size.
you got to do at least 10 times.
Yeah, play it again. I died of old age. This game's still broken.
All right, fine. We'll release a patch for it.
Yeah.
But no, it is a really interesting article with some insight into a relatively infamous game.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
maybe throw a link to it in the show notes.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, if you would like to get a hold of us, there are a plethora of ways to do it. Jeff, how could they get a hold of us through electronic mails?
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can also find us on Twitter. I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I'm Jeff_MHGG.
You can also get us on Facebook and Instagram /MileHighGameGuys. Our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, will someday maybe have a post up sooner than Sunday.
We'll see. I started working again, and every Friday I was just like, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah. If you would like to check out that Patreon that we mentioned before, you can go over to patreon.com/milehighgameguys and check out our different funding and reward levels and see if any of those are particularly interesting to you. You know, we definitely appreciate the support of all of our patrons.
Especially our newest one, Steve.
Yes, Steve, who also sent us a fantastic email,
Yep.
which we really appreciate as well. And for next week's episode, based on that fantastic email that we got from Steve, we'd already been thinking about trying to work discussions back into the show again, because that's something that I know I personally have really missed doing. I like just talking about games in general sometimes, not always constantly doing reviews. And then with that email coming in, basically saying that he really enjoyed that aspect of the show that's kind of went away, we want to bring that back. So we are going to do a discussion episode for next week in place of a normal review. And so the post that we'll put up on BGG will be a few different things that we're planning on kind of discussing. Maybe try and get like 2 or 3 things that we can talk about for 15 to 20 minutes each. Give us a decent episode length there, and plenty of stuff to chat / berate each other about.
You mean an hour to 15 minutes each?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Don't underestimate how much we can talk about things.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that post. And now that we want to start doing these discussions more, if you have any ideas for things that you would like to hear our take on, feel free to send them to us through any of the aforementioned means of contact. Email, the BGG Guild, Twitter, Facebook, any of that stuff. Send us messages if you've got interesting things you'd like to hear us talk about, and we'll talk about them because we like to talk.
That will happen.
So, all right. And that wraps everything else up. As always, I've been Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I still have a cold, Jeff.
Bye.
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 Jesus Christ.
Your neighbor's child is in full sprint mode. I'm really hoping the audio's not picking that up too much.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Here's happened.
It doesn't tend to.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach? What else did you get to play?
You all right there? It sounds like you need a coffee.
I gotta. It's contagious.
Oh, you're all
You
dead.
shouldn't have open mouth kissed Jeff earlier.
Correct. Jeff,
Without his consent.
Yeah.
just make out, Jeff.
Yeah.
You don't get a say in the matter. It's just happening.
Yeah.
This is happening.
You're my friend, and I want to share something with you. Illness.
Gross.
Super gross.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table. pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.